Okay, yeah.
Ndewo ụtụtụ ọma. Daalụ na ịnọnyere anyị na Voice of the East this beautiful Monday morning ka anyị kpaa nkata gbasalụ Nigerian politics. Anụ ọkachasị mkpa ka o si wee gbasatala anyị nwa bụ ndị Igbo. Nnọọ afa m bụ Nneọma. Ọ bụrụ sọsọ m ya akpanya bụ nkata n'ụtụtụ a. Mụ na ezigbo mmadụ, ezigbo ọyị m. Mụ na ya na-abụ nọ n'ụtụtụ a ka ikpe anya bụ nkata. Mụ na Lutanna onye anyị na-akpọ Mayor of Nnewi. Mụ na ya nọ n'ụtụtụ a. Mayor, you're welcome. Ife melụnụ bụ na anyị ga-agụpụta few headlines ịmago gbaa touch na few headlines of ife megolu na be anyị na Nigeria for some months now.
That's wonderful.
Maka na ihe menu adigo too much, you know. Agolo from JAMB, Agolo from on the House of Rep, ndị na-edi camp from parties, that's ndị sikwa from PDP. Onye amabanye APC. In fact, all the kind of check to hear the next message. Onye ọdịghị ka onwe ike mabanye APC next.
But you won't hear that from my mouth.
But we're looking out. There's so much, it seems, that's happening before 2027.
Yes.
In fact, I know that's Nana plan ijelu people who will not vote in the next election. What do you think about that, Mia?
Okay. Firstly, I think that voting is the right. Right, of every human being. As far as you're like from 18 years and above, it is your obligation. Let me not say right. It's an obligation.
Obligation,
yeah,
okay.
To vote and also be voted for when you are at a certain age. That's why if I practice democracy, so voting is an obligation. Maka voters card. Ụbọchị a ga-vote n'ọbịgị ụbọchị a ga-atụ vote n'ọbịgị vote ndị ọzọ je decide ya onye ga-achị for the next 4 years and onye na-achị bịazie ọchịtarozi ọfụma n'ọbịgị na-akọ na-ekwu onye a na-eme nke onye a na-eme nke onye a na-eme nke. Meanwhile ị nwekwara opportunity ịpụ ebe a je tinyekwala onye kwesịrị ime ọfụma mana ị nọrọ n'ụlọ na-aṅụ mmanya na-asị na ndị amarugo onye ha etinye na. So voting is an obligation. Mana mụ ekwetara na eje elu ndị vote.
Okay.
Ekwetara na nke ahụ.
Mana most Nigerians na-adị vote. Well, their argument na enwelu reason for na-adị vote, and one of them bụ na the votes don't count. So all the can mistrust in the system as regards the electorate and elections. So do you think that it's in the nyebe nsobu?
Nke a bụ eziokwu. Ife bụ eziokwu bụ na ndị mmadụ feel na votes anyị ha count.
Okay.
Onwere may use now. That idea digo na votes aya dey account. Mana anya ị ga-afụ na ife na-akọs ife a bụ na ndị mmadụ na-apụta. Ndị mmadụ na-apụta quite alright. Mana anyị enwe the required number of people and a lot of things na cause this. A lot of factors na so n'ife na-eme ife a. Anya na INEC otu ha si eme this voters registration. Nwere ike about 1,000 people register at this area. So 100 people you want a voters card. And that 100 people will go 1% of or 10% of the total population of that place. So that inside that 10%, limit that 10%, at least 50% I may vote. 50% may voters card out. GNA for official purposes. Some of them register be in their hometown, Manahabi in township.
Okay.
And they may not be able to come back home to vote. So a lot of factors. so n'ife na-eme this thing. Mana n'inwe voters card ịpụta ebe ahụ on the election day.
Yes.
Si na voting niile a na-eme na onwe ya manipulate the results. Na onwe oke esi mee rigging. Maka rigging na-ebido na from that this thing. Apụta a na-ego from polling unit apụta a na-ego vote. If onye party nke a ọ sị gị okay, m enye gị 10,000 naira vote olu party m enye gị 5,000 naira vote olu party m. So isi ebe ahụ enweta ndị ahụ na-eme that vote buying. Maka they cannot outnumber the whole community pụta. You cannot outnumber them. Mana people are poor already that inye ha 5,000 ha already ile vote. The next 4 years of their life
5,000
for 5,000 naira, even 2,000 naira.
Orika if I na fun election kali.
So eme ya otu a mmadụ niile pụtasị na n'obigo na ya chọrọzi ka ndị a na-achị anyị ndị a maghachị anyị ọfụma ka a na-achị anyị pụta that day sị na ha ga-ene anya fụ njedebe ife a nọọ onye a ka anyị chọrọ nọọ onye a wee emela anyị ọfụma mmadụ niile n'ofu onu na ọhụrụ ịghafụ na onye nke a na onye nwere ife o nwere otu ọfa epụta maka na ọ na-enye gị 10,000.
Mee ya okwu ga-enyebego m olileanya and ọ dị ka anyị ga-abanye ebe ime because ọ bụrụkwa na most people achọrọ imago ịbịa ka anyị zukọ ọnụ ma were ofu onu wee na-ebe ya bụ akwa mana anyị abịago bịa notice mmadụ chọrọ ha n'ibe dị akwa ma ọ bụrụ tribalism ọ bụrụ ofu ihe what do you think na ka ife anyị emenwube anya n'eziokwu
ịgwa gị eziokwu ndị mmadụ ife nche na anyị na-edili na both locally and nationally bụ reorientation. Ndị mmadụ need reorientation maka o nwere ife na-eme ịghọta ndị mmadụ na-ada into poverty. Like the inaya from the past years, the rate of poverty in the country are increasing. So a lot of people are looking for a way to survive. Keep mmadụ nye m 10,000 naira, and the last time for 10,000 naira, like years ago. For that 10,000 naira, naira vote nke ma, vote onwe for you, they can get to in the nala 10,000. Can at least can no love for ma. Inanya that 10,000 naira inalie jini ilisong. Manemo na ilego the next 4 years of your life. 10,000 naira may not even last you 1 week, but you've sold the next 4 years of your life. So that is the issue, right? Enwe ke salt or distance. Mmadụ niile si na agụ a ebigo na agụ na-agụ mmadụ niile. Healthcare dị very poor. Ife niile like onwe ife na-aga ọfụma. I see na ya chọrọzi ife a ma ndị nwe voters card ma ndị nwe voters card. As far as new wasting of this country epụta nọdụ n'enu ife niile na-eme n'enu vote a na-atụ si na I achọ ka unu manipulate ife a esi from ward level gaa to local government, from local government to states. For more that this thing make sure na you nwere any irregularities na election a na-eme. Ihe afọ anyị mewe nwayọ anyị bido na-eme nwayọ nwere ike ọ ya dị possible for the next 4 years. Mana ibido ife the main thing ibido then you build on it. When you build on it, then by the time you know it, onwere momentum, people would now know that yes, that voting is your obligation. But due to some irregularities, all new voters card, it doesn't mean that you should stay at home. You can also come outside and give your own quota to the electing, to selecting the next person who is going to take charge of the affairs of either your locality, your state, or the national level.
My last question on this, because something came to my mind. Now that the government is planning to e.g. 100,000 naira fine, jail term as the consequence of not voting, what do you think that attitude will encourage Nigerians to take it seriously? What do you think it will do?
I don't think. Maka m nwere ike nwee 100,000 naira si na ma ya vote. Gbasara m. Ịbịa ịbịa kpọrọ ụmụ ya kwụọ 100,000 naira. So that is not the solution. The solution is fixing the electoral body. Make sure na mmadụ niile register voters card. Make that process easy. I know what I went through before I went to my own PVC. For one straight week from Oka. So I make that process easier for people to get voters card. Okay. That's day of voting. That machine denied some people.
Plenty.
Yes.
Plenty.
So these factors we find in go down here. For now, solve these issues and then with the voting regulating body, then that issue had to go solved. Then you can start bringing laws like this. But you can't just say jail or now 100,000 naira if you have not first corrected the system that makes people, that denies people voting. Right. A lot of people want to vote, but they don't have the voters card. A lot of people came out. You saw the 2023 elections. A lot of people were eager to come and collect their voters card, but they were not. They didn't have. A lot of people were under the sun trying to vote. And then the beavers does not recognize them.
And then we later found where they dumped some PVCs.
Some people's PVCs.
The thing, they're very funny. And then speaking of PVCs, it turns out that I'm an identification problem because in Enanya, onye nwekwa this PVC, onye need kwa NIN. Onye need kwa international passport. Need a BVN. Of onye need kwa driver's license. So, another initiative government, it seems they need another identification. So, it makes you wonder, are they properly documented in the country at all? Would you think they properly documented as a nation?
I don't think makana government think he bupta nke fa Jonathan unya bido BVN na regime yake bido BVN onye nke che tupu onye na kita abata bupte NIN aya ososu nke onye nke na kita ga-ebupụta wali ike akpọpụta kwa ofu si na ga-eme ajụjụ a eju bụkwa ajụjụ mmụọ na ajụbụ na ona documentation na email na BVN na ndị agha iji nwe mee na NIN ka na fingerprint ndị mmadụ na-echange thumbprint ndị mmadụ na-echange ihu gịnị ka na we ma ndị mere ọ bụrụ na cosmetic surgery bụ ife dị rampant na side anya I say okay, it make cosmetic surgery. Only make cosmetic surgery. You got Rosie audible. Mana, what is it? Ndị nka buptalo initiative nka mechaa ya. Ndị nka biazie half raw details data anyị na ife ndị nka mere so he buptekwa nke fa. Onwe obere oge na asịkwa na half raw nka eme na NIN. Bupto nwere ike ọwụ MNN ka anyị bute.
Hey, akụkọ akalia anyị nọkwa na Voice of the East Studios n'ụtụtụ a na-akpa nkata na politics. Anyị ga-eje ka anyị lechalụ nwa obere afịa. We will be right back.
Guy, So out here, the sun has been it's been crazy today, man. Like tell them what we've been through.
Oh, I mean, it's been a lovely experience, but I mean, the sun has been.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're hotter than the sun, so
We're
killing it.
We're killing it, like you said. So right now we're about to film a particular scene where the groom arrives, basically. So let's wrap it up and see how it goes.
Guys, Nkemi's here. Let's go and see him.
I want to super
We call this person very before on her way downstairs. Now when she comes.
Me, I know life wahala. Chop life, catch cruise.
Your own is to capture the front name and
No, daalụ na ịnọnyela anyị na-akpa nkata dị na politics ka o si wee gbanyelu ndị Igbo ka o si wee gbasakwa anyị generally anyị na-ekwukwa Nigerian politics as well isi sekpu ọba ịghọtago anyị abịago mụ na mayor of Nnewi nọ na nkata n'ụtụtụ a anyị akpago ife gbasara elections and the new bill the House of Rep pass second reading anyways because Anya Fubero the final but of course most times bills pass second reading in Nigeria.
Okay, go
it has almost scaled through. So awena akọwata na inwekwala ike ijenga maọbụ kwụọ 100,000 if you don't participate in elections. I wena aju more the right thing to do, which mayor has done justice to. Also, I want to picture the controversial on the internet where the Pope had met with Peter Obi in Rome. That particular picture has
former Pope,
the new Pope,
the
new American Pope. Yes, there's a picture of both of them where they were being cordial with each other in Rome, and it has cost Nigerians all manners of reactions. So if you can also drop your comments about what you thought about that interaction between Peter Obi and the President Bola Tinubu. What do you think, Mayor?
The only thing I think is at the end of the day, politics is not war. So that's why sometimes when I see some obedience online, fighting people for associating with people who support the president,
yes.
I think they are being so emotional. Do you understand?
Okay.
So what I think is we can be political rivals and still be cordial. So, and as a matter of respect, Tinubu is the leader, like Bayo Ononuga rightfully said.
Right.
He's the leader of the Nigerian delegation.
True.
So as far as he was there, I felt, okay, you have to greet him now. It's not an issue. But the only thing I don't like is the animosity online. When it now it now extends into tribalism and all of that. It doesn't really make sense. The person who is there now. Right. Everybody has fallen in line. So I feel like do your thing and we lost. Let us also re-strategize and try to win the next one. So that is it. I don't really pay attention to all those kind of topics. Yeah.
Oh well, the opinions you don't want to know. Anyways, drop your comments and your contributions about any of the topics we're discussing this morning. Just join the
I think that should also let the obedience know that you are fighting and you are fighting these people, but your leader is actually he's an opposition, quite all right, but when he sees him, he will greet him. He's a president.
Of course,
so stop fighting your friends because they support because they support the ruling party.
Of course.
Because at the end of the day, this person you are fighting for would still dine with these people you think are your enemies. So why not just live your life and, you know, let it go, to be honest. Because no matter the animosity from now to 2027, the person that is there is still there. You can't take him out. So that is the issue. Re-strategize, go back and let's see where the loopholes from 2023 was, and let's try to fix it. That's what we should be doing now, rather than fighting online with these people.
But this gives me an idea. The electorate seem to have a different animosity with the politicians than they assume, because Peter Obi's animosity perhaps with the president is different from what the people are feeling, because from the people's standpoint it's emotional. This government has been quite stifling. We've never seen anything like this one before.
Yeah,
so it's the people feeling disappointed that they have that relationship that's cordial outside of here, because they thought that their emotions, like you rightly said, will be translated within their relationship.
Yeah. So I saw it and I was like, I saw that picture and even where he was, you know, and I was like, okay.
It makes you think, really.
Okay. So if you are going to see him and be cordial with him, and even, you know, like, laugh when you see him. I don't want to mention names, but we know somebody who would not do that.
True.
We know that during the elections, during the run into the elections, before the elections, there was an event where he came and he was sleeping. The person personally took pictures of him while he was sleeping and posted online. That is how you play rival politics, right? But like seeing him smiling and all of that, okay, so why am I now frowning, or why am I now like cutting off my friend because my friend supports them?
Oh yes.
So
because
I feel like if your people are behaving towards, if your people are fighting these people and they're fighting because they believe in you, you should also lead that fight from the front. People, the normal obedience will not have access to him.
Of course.
The way he has had access to him in Rome.
That's right.
Do you understand? Even if someone was dragging you to go and greet him, you still had your right to say no, right? You still had the right to say no. So being that jovial and it sends off the wrong signal. To be honest, like with the way people are emotional, you see a lot of people might just drop off steam.
Oh yeah,
because it's
the reactions that we have been receiving from X, you know, from Instagram, the reactions of Nigerians have been quite surprising, because a lot of people are angry that you know, why should they be cordial? But I'm also looking at the environment at which they were at. It's the Vatican. You would really
even if it's the Vatican, even if it's Jerusalem, right? You're not sitting on the same row. Stay on your seat.
Right.
So that's it.
It kind of spoke of a much deeper relationship between them. And Nigerians were quite skeptic of our politicians. So it made a lot of people think stuff. But what we're doing is to analyze these stories, because at the end of the day, we have to make sense of these things, right? Sure. And this country, every day, there's something going on every day. And as the people who are receiving this information, we must digest them properly. And that brings me to the JAMB situation. All right, before we start reading any headlines, what did you observe on your own?
Okay, I saw... I've been following that particular story, and it's just a sad situation, because my younger brother wrote JAMB in Navy, and he also had to recite without preparations. Like he got the message that he was going to recite today, like he was going to recite the next day, right? So imagine if he had come down he wasn't like in Navy for that moment. So how was he going to, you know, make his way down to Navy?
I was personally against the receipt.
Yeah. Why not remark?
I didn't see why they needed to.
I feel like that's a very sad situation, because a reputable body like JAMB, which is supposed to be an independent body, right? has now also told the part of, our politicians, right? Now, this is, why did that glitch? Why did it happen just in the southeast and Lagos? That is the question. Why? Why didn't it affect other places? Why the southeast?
Massively.
So if there is anything they are hiding, I feel like they should even make the details of whatever. You're saying glitch, technological glitch. What exactly is that technological glitch? What exactly is it? Because in Nigeria, we like to use English to cover a lot of
According
things.
to JAMB, man proposes, God disposes.
So what did man propose?
I don't even know what that means.
What did God dispose?
I don't know what that means at all.
You don't just come and say, this is what exactly happened. And why did it have to affect only students in the southeast and Lagos? And looking at this thing, something else happened. I think I've been following the story. There were like, I don't know how many they were, a group of students who had, gathered together to go for the receipt from Anambra to Imo.
Okay.
And they were allegedly...
The ones that were kidnapped?
They were allegedly kidnapped.
Oh yeah, about 15 of them.
Yeah, about 15 of them.
Even up until now, we've not heard
No,
anything.
we've had. I was reading this
something?
morning. I was reading a story this morning
where
JAMB released a statement, and the statement went that the students suspiciously or something. I've forgotten the word they used.
Right.
So and from a national exam, a reputable body like that, you need to see the unprofessionalism in the way that statement was released. I think I can't really remember, but like what they meant with the statement was that there was something suspicious about the story.
Okay.
That the student had suspiciously chosen their center to be Imo State. And I'm like, is this the first
what
time
do you mean
that,
by that?
Students move from a place to another
center
to go and write exams? So because they saw that they had fellow students in that area who were also going to write the exams in the same locality in Imo State, and they gathered to transport themselves.
Yes.
And news came out that they were allegedly kidnapped. Right? Now, instead of addressing the issue from a professional standpoint, they are trying to make it look like the students had like an ulterior motive.
Yes.
And it struck me that, wow, we might actually be facing a very big battle. The story is on JAMB. If you are watching, you can easily go to JAMB's Twitter page and you'll see that story.
The one that really struck me before we even got to the malfunction was when JAMB started declaring a profit. Have you ever heard anything like that before? But this year, JAMB declared over billions.
Like, when did the body become a profit-making body?
Because everybody has been asking the question, when did JAMB become an asset-declaring institution where it now says, oh, we made so amount of money? From what? We pay you to organize, the country pays JAMB heavily to organize these exams, and it runs in billions. And the exam is sat once a year.
Once a year.
And the stories that have come out from these institutions they are quite shocking. And one wonders why Nigerians don't trust the system anymore. We don't trust anything. We don't trust what's being said. We don't know what to believe because it's heartbreaking. From the election malfunctions, and now it's young people's results
being tampered with.
And now I heard about 2 or 3 of them committed
suicide.
It's not okay. So it makes you wonder, what do you do in a country like this? How do you navigate? What does a young person look forward to in the country? Imagine getting this kind of national scar at that JAMB age, without even getting into the university first. What do you think young people are feeling in Nigeria at the moment?
The truth is that a lot of young people are feeling rage and anger. To be honest, I would say that for myself, right, each time we have tried to believe in the system, we end up, getting reminded that you can never, like, strong words, forgive me, pardon me, but you can never, like, trust this system.
Oh my.
Because they end up breaking, they end up, like, you give them, you trust them, but they end up shattering your trust. Like, it is even bigger than heartbreak.
It is.
It is even bigger than heartbreak. Look at the way the young people came out in the 2023 elections. Look at now, like, actions that has, come after that elections. And you see that even at a young age, people are being indoctrinated with different kinds of both tribal sentiments and all of that.
Plenty.
So I don't think young people nowadays, if they say they don't believe in the country, I don't even blame them. Because each time they've tried to believe, they have always been given back reasons why you cannot believe.
Don't try.
Igbo people say, "Ana atana abugu n'obi, ena atana abugu n'anya." Or ife Nigeria na eme.
Oh.
So that is for you to see. I think that summarizes everything.
We follow inu Igbo na soncha. Just this one, and you just ichikotanya bu okwu. Mmadu na-ata na abugi n'obi. Na-ata. That is the thing balu n'ime we na-ekwukwa nnekwute okwu dị egwu. Anyị ga na-eche balu ihe na-eme echiche as a people. Maka na anima oburokwa ime election bụ okwu. MSC election consequences ya bịabe etu a na-akwadokwa election ọzọ maka na ị na-anya ifu na ndị nọ n'isi na-akwadokwa for the next election while the electorate na-achọ ka ha nwa n'onwe ha adjust from nke emeleme ịghọtago fa nwa na-akwado maka 2027 nwa na-asịkwa the electorate unu adịkwa nkwadobe for the coming elections. Before anyị apụọ n'ụtụtụ a mayor ga-enye anyị one or two advice for the electorate bụ the Nigerian people. So anyị ga-agbapụ ịghọtago na ndị nwe anyị si ka anyị jechalụ afịa na anyị ga-eje afịa ka anyị lee one or two anyị pụtakwa mayor wee mechiela anyị okwu n'ụtụtụ a daalụ rinne.
We shouldn't have used these balls.
Hello, Nne.
Where are you guys?
Our car broke down.
Oh my God.
Adugo, why are you worried?
They just called me and they told me that the car broke down and they're stranded.
Our in-laws?
Yes.
Tofia.
Yes, right. Okay, I will deal with that drive. Yeah.
Hello? Is that Onije Motors? I need your services very quickly. My love. You're welcome. I don't want. Iye bulu mmanya. Je gosi anyị onye se na ogina. Iba ya kwa na ya no. So take this one, show us the person. If you want safety, if you want comfort, if you want to go to wherever your destination is, it is a region. Onye moto. Kedu onye butere fa? Onye Bokopi, say Bokopi. Bokopi.
No, I'm on the Voice of the East Studios on a lovely Monday morning, and of course we're discussing politics, and I'm not alone this morning. Mayor is with me. And you were not Bakolita Katanya Bagumaka.
Our car broke down.
Jilton.
Oh my
I
do go.
They told me that the car
some
broke down and
things,
they're
you know,
stranded.
regarding the youth and how the system may have even broken hearts at this point because
Is that on you,
we're only the more affected than young
I need
people.
your services.
And we're only the 20 years with this particular administration did it, for instance. By the time of 2030 or 31, yeah, I get it. Only an active by 30 years. And in an economy, building is one of the most difficult things for any young Nigerian. Because all the cable in Obodabu, Equa house,
if you want safety, so
Papa, I know no bona makwakodi. Mana okukosi ni ifi aje kwano ifi haya. Bako wenu ni ko ha ma ya be. Ara kwisi ni ya bero. No nya melo ya jiwe na eku ifie na eku. Now, if a basalo jam, I know and how devastating the entire system has turned out. But it brings back a young lady that had a very public jump incident in 2023, where she was famously, you know, a little girl of that age. You know, national,
They just called me. They told me that the car broke down and they're stranded.
Disaster at the time, where she was famously known to have fabricated her jump result. You know, and that's young lady had received so much criticisms. You will think that our system is completely devoid of people fabricating results. Nobody wondered about where the young lady may have even gotten the idea from, because a young woman like that wouldn't just have come up with. She must have seen something. She must have known something. You know, and we have a system that may have encouraged behavior like this. But that young lady received a lot of backlash from Nigerians for that activity. Now, during this jam malfunction, which now happens to affect mostly Igbos, which is where Mesoma comes from, which is why she's important in this conversation. It has made a lot of Igbo people mostly to question the credibility of the accusation that was made towards that young woman in 2023. You know, about that fabrication of her result. Most people have started asking if we truly went through the process of investigating that issue properly, to have been able to ascertain that the young woman was definitely responsible for that action. Or, as most people think, is this also one of those great manipulations where it seems it's a bit of a target to a certain group of people?
Where are you guys?
In this case, Igbo, which is
oh my God.
Why are you worried? Mayor, what do you observe from all of that
down and they're stranded.
Okay,
our in-laws.
it is good now this whole conversation around jam.
Hello.
Is
that on your motors?
Story. Because we were all there when everything started in 2023. I myself, I was opportune to come in contact with her and also have insider details of what happened. Yeah, because as we all know, when people were asking, a lot of people already believed in what was being said, that she altered her results and all of that. But other people were asking when at such a young age,
if you want
someone like that, a young girl like that, has been exposed to such publicity, right? So it just goes back to the fact that it boils down to the fact that we do not know how to handle things in this country in a way that when handled professionally or when it is handled things will not go out of control. Do you understand? There's a way you handle keys. There's a way you handle adults. Jam should have just called her in and, investigated properly. Okay, you said this was the result you printed out, and this was the result that
my God.
I do go. Why are you worried?
Bring it
Just
in.
call me, they told me
Where
that the
did
car
you?
broke
Because
down
that's
and they're
her result
stranded.
had that jam.
Our in-law.
The logo, all of the
Everything were there. So where did you get this thing from?
Hello.
Do you understand?
Is that
a lot
all
of
you
people
do?
believe that she was coerced into
And
saying
your services. Very
that she
quickly.
manipulated her result. And that is not, with what is happening now, that is not, if you look into it very well, it's not far-fetched.
Right.
Because as it is, you don't even know. It might not just be her, there might be other people who have also been affected by this same thing. Because they didn't talk about it, they don't. Do you understand? So that is just how it is. But I feel like in her situation, it wasn't really handled well. And that's why I keep thanking my chairman, our chairman at Mr. Gaius, who took her
If you
in
want
and,
safety, if you want...
Jam banned her from writing any exams
I heard
for 3 years. Yeah, and all of that for a young child like that.
And it's important. Why the very public outrage? She was so nationally dramatized as
She was
the
taken to the
face.
House of Assembly.
Why do you think that particular attention was given to her? Because we know, we have seen children. Even in worse situations, we've seen the children who planned, the demise of their fellow students in their schools. We've seen bullyings that have escalated towards the loss of human lives, and we've not seen such children being traumatized in such a manner. And it's very suspicious. It looks really suspicious. And that young woman was so nationally displayed and harassed and torn apart like that. You would wonder if children do not do wrong anymore in our society.
Is that on you,
And she almost became like a face of educational fraud in the nation. But it leads to deeper questions. It leads to questions about qualification. It leads to questions about consequences and accountability. You remember during the INEC-IREV situation, and nobody took the fall for what happened. There were no consequences. Nobody was held accountable. Nobody resigned. Nobody lost their job. Nothing happened.
Even with this current fiasco,
what should happen in a normal environment where the system cares
if you
about
want safety, if you want the
people's mental
and do you even know the worst thing? We saw schools, higher institutions releasing statements in support.
So Lauren, we saw.
You have really to support the JAM registrar for making a mistake
and supported him.
And that he owned up to. I don't understand.
And that he cried. Don't forget that he cried.
Why? I'm still like trying to make sense of it. So are we trying to normalize this kind of incidents as far as the person will come out and cry?
Or faint, there are usually the options. It's either you cry
it's a very sad
or
case.
faint.
It's a very sad case.
Oh my
God.
I do go. Why are you
That's
worried?
the way they handled
Just call
that.
me, they told me that the car broke down and they're stranded.
It wasn't good at all.
Our in-laws.
But like I said, I thank God for Mr. Gaius who took her in.
Hello. Is that on you, Motos?
Tried to and also tried to make visa, apply for visa for her, applied for scholarships and all of that. And he did a whole lot. I took her to the immigration when to do her international passport and all of that.
We also have to give props to Mr. Alex Onya, who actually took it up, from the very beginning, because if he didn't pay attention to JAM, it would have gone unnoticed, and whatever propaganda this was would have really scaled. So for some reason, props to all the people who are trying their best really to change some of the narratives, because it would have been way worse. Imagine that some of these things are really allowed to happen, or probably in the direction that they were meant to happen. What scandals might we be facing as a community? Anyways, I wanted Mayor to advise the electorate. Now, Anambra State is about to go on a governorship election by November 8th. I am very sure that's when that election is. People like me were a little bit skeptic about the APC situation and politics. Yes, predictable through the patterns and everything, but in Nigerian politics, magic sometimes can happen.
The truth is, if you're talking about Anambra,
yes, I am talking about Anambra.
I follow politics there very closely.
Okay.
But I feel Governor Soludo might win.
Hello.
Not
Is that on you,
because I don't see Labour Party now has not been able to produce. And okay, they said Dr. George Mohan. We've not really been hearing anything about him. He's just more. Also, APC Nicholas Okachi, that case is still in court. So it's a whole lot of drama coming up.
So he doesn't have any competition.
No strong competition. Yeah. So I just say Anambra people, Ndi Anambra, ne nanya, inu nanya nife Governor Soludo Megolu with this 3 years on ago in office. Uno nanya, una afu, una amalu na again another chance to complete what he has started, or if we are going to try someone else. But at the end of the day, the main thing we you na kamadu ni nepota. Kali no no si Soludo Ojebego ema ndị bai kwesịrị anyị olugo n'oge anyị ga-akwụsị Ojebego politics. Ojebego nke emego o mele ọfụma maka na ọlụlụ ụzọ lụọ Fun City, lụọ Government House, lụọ bridge n'Ekwulọbịa na all those other things ọ na-eme. Any delay, strong opposition even when the government is doing well. So ndị Anambra ọ nọmala onye unu chọrọ ịtụ ọ na-atụnyere onye ahụ ka ala iji maka ife a na-anụ na ntị tụọ election. Unu gaa na-atụ ọlụ onye ahụ make sure na n'afọ na onye ga-achị anyị ọfụma ga-aba na that seat. Ọ bụrụ na Governor Soludo na-achị ọfụma ya continue kwa, mana the main thing bụ na ka anyị pụta 12 votes on that day. Ka anyị ala nọ n'ụlọ na-eti Ojebego.
Before anyị apụọ, that advice in Cholokenye, the electorate, that is the Nigerian people. 2027 is not as far as you might assume. Can you fed the Nigerian voting public when they are going to the polling unit the next time?
First off, if I'm going to Latin Catholic, Vox Populi, Vox Dei. The voice of the people is the voice of God. So when we come together as one and speak, we will be heard. When we come together as one and vote and select that right candidate that is going to rule us, and we stand by it and we protect our votes. Only if this thing trend, one gorilla versus 100 men. When Ebuka Obi-Uchendu na Twitter, they or 12,000 politicians versus 200 million Nigerians.
Yes.
So that alone gives you this thing. 1% of the populace, 1% of 200 million should be. I can't do this. But let's say 10% of 200 million are good enough to fight these people and say, we don't want anybody imposed on us. We are going to vote. We are going to register. For people who do not have voters card yet, or for people whose voters cards have not been produced, we are going to go back and stand and make sure that we get our voters card. We will put pressure on the electoral body to make sure that our voters card are out, and on that day we are going to vote. Let's know, I know a lot of people are discouraged by what happened in 2023, but at the end of the day, you can't say because you are discouraged, you now leave the country to die like that. Let us put in our best to see that things go well and also vote. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say.
Dalu Mayor, thank you so much for joining me this morning on this wonderful conversation. You will join us every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Kanyekwa Politics. na Voice of the East. Thank you so much for being with us. Afamo bonoma anokwamu na me yo melenyabu program no tutwa. Ipu tata ebe na azu afia, ebe na agụ akwụkwọ, ebe na eme ife ọbụla ị na-eme gba mbọ ka iwele ịfụnanya tinye n'obi gị. Onwekwanụ nke fọnụ iwele anya nwanne gị ka emesịa.
Kedu onye butere fa? Onye ije. Bokope, si abokope.
We shouldn't have used these balls.
Hello, Nne.
Where are you guys?
Our car broke down.
Oh my God.
Adugo, why are you worried? Me.
They just called me. They told me that the car broke down and they're stranded.
Our in-laws.
Yes.
Tofia.
Yes, right. Okay, I will deal with that drive. Yeah. Yeah.
Hello? Is that Onije Motors? I need your services very quickly. My love. You're welcome. You're welcome. I don't want. Iye bulu mmanya. Je gosi anyị onye se na ogina. Iba ya kwa na ya no. So take this one, show us the person. If you want safety, if you want comfort, if you want to go to wherever your destination is, it is your region. Onye ije moto. Kedu onye butere fa? Onye ije. Bokope, si abokope. Bokope.
We shouldn't have used these balls.
Hello, Nne.
Where are you guys?
Our car broke down.
Oh my God.
Adugo, why are you worried? Me.
They just called me. They told me that the car broke down and they're stranded.
Our in-laws.
Yes.
Tofia.
Yes, right. Okay, I will deal with that drive. Yeah. Yeah.
Hello? Is that Onije Motors? I need your services very quickly. My love. You're welcome. You're welcome. I don't want. Iye bulu mmanya. Je gosi anyị onye se na ogina. Iba ya kwa na ya no. So take this one, show us the person. If you want safety, if you want comfort, if you want to go to wherever your destination is, it is your region. Onye ije moto. Kedu onye butere fa? Onye ije. Bokope, si abokope. Bokope.